Welcome, everybody. Glad that you could be here. I'm Aaron DeVore, the founder and chair of Transgender Studies, and also the Transgender Archives, and also the Trans History Forward conferences. You saw a little bit about all of that in the video that just went by. So we'll start with the territorial acknowledgement. We acknowledge and respect the Wapangan people, that's the Songhees, the Esquimalt, and the Saanich people, on whose territory the University of Victoria stands, and whose historical relationships with the land continue to this day. So the chair of transgender studies at UVic is a research chair, and it's not the chair of the department. There is no department of transgender studies anywhere in the world, and in fact, this is the only research chair in transgender studies in the world right now. So we contribute to the development and communication of accurate research-based evidence and knowledge that we try to get to the people who will use it to build better policies and practices and make the world a better place. We also try to help to build strong and resilient trans plus social and cultural communities by having events that are not academic and giving people an opportunity to get together and experience things together. And in all that we do, we're committed to applying an intersectional lens to advance reconciliation, racial justice, equity, and inclusion for all. So our speaker is Stephen Davidson, and Stephen founded the London Trans Choir in 2017 and has been working with trans voices of all kinds ever since. Steve is a trained actor and a musician, and he brings a dynamic and flexible approach to voice work for all voice types. Through his work with the Tavistock and Portman Gender Clinic and their trans choir called Love Tank, did I get that right?
Two separate organizations.
Oh, okay. So the trans choir and Love Tank. All right. And with actors and singers from beginner to West End levels, which means very professional for those of you that don't know. He's worked with every voice type under the sun. So everybody here is welcome and falls under the sun. Stephen Davidson is a leading authority on Transmasculine Voice, and he's released his third book, Transmasculine Voice, a Guide to Vocal Euphoria 2024. So please join me in welcoming Stephen Davidson.
Hi, so nice to see you all. Thank you for coming, staying, those of you who stayed. This is going to be a short and practical kind of workshop. I'm going to get you doing stuff right away. Don't worry, won't scare you. Everything's going to be fine. Because voice is just, it's a learn by doing kind of thing. It's experiential. And the first thing we're going to do is just some tiny little shoulder rolls. That's going to be fine, right? Yeah, go on. Take a little moment. We're relaxing our shoulders, but we're also kind of just remembering that we have shoulders. One of the things with voice training and making sure we're doing it effectively and gently and not straining anything is just, we need to be a little bit more mentally checked in to at least this much of our body. So just a little shoulder moment for yourself. If they want a big roll, you can have it, but if they don't, then don't. It's your shoulders. I'm old, so my nose click. When you feel done with that, let them just kind of settle nice and cozily, and we're going to try and keep them relaxed for the whole rest of the time. We'll have a little neck moment as well, just gently again. I like to go ear down to shoulder, just having a soft little flop about. It's an awareness as well as a stretch. If you're hypermobile, do it gently. It's not a contest, and we're not at the gym. We're just kind of moving our neck around, remembering what it feels like. If any of those muscles feel like a little tight, or they're like, oh, I want a little stretch, just stay there and stretch them. You have time. Live your life. Some little muscles in there. Beautiful. And in fact, I think we deserve a neck round. Take a little moment, give everything a squeeze. Why not? This is always a little scary. So maybe some of these neck muscles are like, ugh. Take a minute, reassure that everything's fine. We're going to be so gentle. You can come around the side, maybe say a gentle hello to your jaw as well. very easy to clench your jaw and not even notice. You know, they're a fun joint to get to now. How do they go sideways? Nobody knows. We do know, but what a weird little joint, right? Gorgeous. Maybe just a little squish under here, behind your chin, but still in front of your neck. Just a nice soft thumbs moment. Down here is the base of your tongue. It's a great one to check in with when we're doing this kind of voice work. It should be nice and soft and squishy and pliable. A lot of the time, if we're getting overexcited and pushing too hard, particularly to try and lift our pitch or project, this is the muscle that's overdoing it. So a little check-in is a really nice way to start. And if it does feel kind of hard or angry, take a moment. Yes. The base of the tongue is really interesting because it's attached to our larynx. The larynx is a little bumpy bit here where our voice lives. And you can feel them move together if you just put your thumb up there gently and swallow. Neat, right? There's so much going on in there. Beautiful. We're going to take a little bit of time to stretch out the base of our tongue, exactly for the reason I said before. Sometimes when we're really going at it with voice training, we can get a little bit tight, a little bit sore, a little bit tired. So we're just going to, like if we're exercising, we're going to start with just that extra little stretchy moment. Stretch number one, we're going to start by just sticking our tongue out. Well timed after sign on the way in. If that's comfy, keep it out, gently try to yawn. If that's already a stretch, stay there. Gorgeous. Just a nice little moment. We're also going to do this one where we're bulging up the middle. So you're going to put the tip of your tongue behind your bottom teeth and kind of squish the middle out. Gorgeous. A little bit of a pull in there. We'll do a little windshield wiper of our tongue around our teeth like this. Take a little moment. You might notice an extra pull in this one if you've got a tight jaw. That's you, go gently. But this is good for you, so do it anyway. Beautiful. Keep doing that one until your tongue is tired. For most people, about 30 seconds in, the lactic acid will suddenly be like, you're done. That's how you know you're done. Beautiful. Take a little moment, just enjoy feeling your tongue nice and relaxed and chilled out. And just like our shoulders are going to stay nice and relaxed, we're going to try and keep our tongue just like not too excited over the next however long we're here. We're going to move it around a little. We're going to do some stuff, but we're never going to clench it. We're just inviting it to like change the shape a little. That's all. We're going to make some noise, but don't worry, it's going to be fine. Let's start with a big kind of slidey, cowardly lion yawn. From as high as you can comfortably go to as low as you are comfortable going. Treat yourself. A couple more. Imagine the nose starting all the way up here. See if you can start a tiny bit higher. Gorgeous. Just take a little bit. Take a little moment to feel what that felt like. We're going to let it evolve into a little siren. So we're going to go up and down. What a treat. We're going to do this on an NG sound, like at the end of the word sing. You'll feel the back of your tongue come up. It's not clenching, it's just lifting up. Sing. So it'll sound like this. Have a little play around. Go. Gorgeous. What did it feel like? What did you notice? How'd it go? Sometimes my voice like skip out and be like, like yes. It was like right in the middle. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Did anyone else notice like a little skip or a click or a gear change, like right in the middle. It's okay if you didn't. Some voices have it more than others. Oh, what does this have it? Cool. All right. So that's actually like the little bit of our voice that I'm really interested in starting with talking about. I feel like a lot of the time when we think about trans femme voice, we immediately think ramp up the pitch as high as you can do it. But actually, pitch in and of itself doesn't do that much to make a voice read more feminine or masculine. And also, oh, it's so much work to do that. Don't don't make a voice that's that much work to do. What if you have lots of things to say? It's going to be exhausting. Um, so the thing that's changing there is the softness of our voice. When we're all the way up here, our vocal folds aren't even touching, not even the muscles. It's the softest, highest voice that we can possibly imagine. This shouldn't be our speaking voice, but it's fun that it's up there. And when we come down, we kind of have this gear change. And every single voice has that. But depending on how thick your vocal folds are and how trained your voice is, sometimes it's clunkier and sometimes it's softer. That's all. I have a little bit of science for you, but if you immediately forget it, that's fine. When we're down here in this bit of our voice, where we're sort of our default speaking voice for most people, our vocal folds, those little muscles in our larynx, they're coming together, they're making full contact, they're having a great time. If they go faster, we have a higher pitch. If they go slower, we have a lower pitch. Oh, but they're kind of fundamentally having a nice, easy time coming together like this. When we're up here, in this range of our voice, they don't actually touch. It's just the membrane around them that touches. And that's why we kind of get a little clunky, sometimes in the middle of our voice. It's that ear change between just the membrane and the muscle is engaged. But that kind of in between bit, I'm so interested in. Because if we can find that, just kind of, just in that top little bit where it's the gear has changed, but we're not settling down into our thick, heavy voice. If we can just kind of gently sit down on top of those notes, we can start to cultivate a lighter, softer version of our voice. And a lot of the time, it's that weight that is one of the main kind of factors in whether a voice reads masculine or feminine. Neat, right? So if I'm going to prove the pitch thing, because I remembered at the end of the last session that I have my keyboard. I'm going to pick this note. It's fine if you don't know what note this is. It's an E3. It's labeled on my keyboard. So this note right here, I'm going to speak at that pitch, but with a really thick, heavy sound. This would absolutely get me sirred in person, obviously, but on the phone, this would definitely get me sirred. It's very thick and full. And what's happening there? My vocal folds are making that really firm contact. Those muscles are going to make that really thick sound. But if I think about sliding down lightly to that note, same note demonstrably. But if I'm just sort of sliding down and having a really light contact there, my pitch hasn't changed, my resonance hasn't changed. I'm just making those vocal folds touch in a softer way. And for me, I feel like this is the first place that I start with most trans femme clients, because it's that weight that kind of can come in if we don't have that muscle control. That can be a little bit jarring, or it can feel like that voice is not fully under our control. Does that make sense? Yeah, neat. Science. So I'm going to invite everyone to do a big slide down. And I'd like you to see if you can feel difference between this bit of your voice and this bit of your voice. It might be a really smooth transition. This bit might be hard to get to at all, because maybe you just don't use it much. I don't know what everyday people use this for. I'm a voice teacher, so I do it a lot. Yeah. have a little play around and just see for yourself. What can you feel? Can you feel anything shifting in here? What's the difference? What goes on? 1, 2, 3, big slidey on. I okay. So here's the thing we're going to poke around with this. And if this isn't the one for you, I have lots of other ones, fear not. But just as an experiment, if you do have a little bit of a change in the middle of your voice, what happens if we slide down, let it change, and then immediately just stop and hold it there? So we're not going as low as we can. We're going just over that border, and then we're staying. For my voice, it's about here. That's kind of the pitch where my voice starts to switch from high to we're kind of getting into that speaking voice contacty kind of buzzy feeling. So for me, I would go, oh, just kind of experience that bit of my voice. It's a higher pitch than I normally go at, but there's no particular pitch you need to be at, which is nice. So we're gonna go, oh, just kind of hold it there. What happens if we chill up in that spot? And then wherever that spot is, maybe count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Very nice. If you were singing the note, if you were speaking the note, if you were anywhere in the neighborhood, you did it right. Congratulations. How you hit the note has so much more importance than like what note you're hitting. Because that note that I played, E3, it's within a feminine range. But if I do it thick and heavy, it does not sound feminine. And likewise, we can do a really low note, really soft and light and bright, and it will sound feminine because of physics, acoustics. It's a whole thing. But why that's easier is because we're using a gentler vocal fold weight. We're not like shoving our vocal folds together determinedly, trying to push our voice higher and higher and higher. Oh boy, so feminine. No. We've all met that lady. The thing is, if we push our voice really high with that thick, buzzy sound, it's not super feminine, but it is quite exhausting. But if we let our voice kind of float up with that gentler sound, it actually becomes easier to raise the pitch. But we're not trying to raise the pitch. We're sneaking in by just making it a little bit softer and gentler all around. That makes sense? Ish, kind of. If you didn't feel that click in the middle of your voice, or if that just like felt weird, good news. I have another way to think about making a nice soft sound. Please imagine you've just seen a kitten. And we're all gonna go, aww, have a little gentle kitten noise. 1, 2, 3. Aww. Yeah. Have one more. 1, 2, 3. Aww. Yeah. Beautiful. And we're going to use that gentle, soft, I've just seen a kitten. You can imagine something other than a kitten if you hate kittens. I mean, you don't even have to confess that you hate kittens. You can just do that inside your mind. Something, you've seen something cute, and you might even physically feel like a gentler, lighter sound coming in here. You could even feel with your fingertips less buzzing here in your throat. Oh, I'm very excited. In your nice, soft, I've just seen a kitten voice, we're going to say a really nice, boring sentence. For example, my name is Stephen. I live in London, and I had a salad for lunch. That, but for you, all at the same time. 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah. Gorgeous. Easy. This is a good time to stop and say, because of the patriarchy, a lot of things that read feminine are easiest to do if you're quiet and constantly smiling. But they don't have to be done that way. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. It's often just the easiest, like, first step. If you have trans femme friends, you know someone who you can barely hear, but that's fine. what we're doing when we're finding this light, soft voice is we're finding that position where our vocal folds are just gently engaging. But once we've found the position where our vocal folds are just gently engaging, we can actually take it pretty loud before it starts to thicken, if that makes sense. We just kind of need to like find that setting and get real comfy with it before we try to do it loud. So yes, this is a quiet setting. Yes, it is easier to do quiet. Do you have to do it quietly? Of course not. You have things to say and people need to hear them. But sometimes people do need to just practice softly, just for like a little bit to get the gist of it. Does that make sense? Beautiful. Just for funsies. Find a person or a couple of people you might have to turn around, have a little or whichever one felt like it worked better for you. Have a gentle little chat in your soft voice. You can talk about voice stuff and how it's going. Or the weather, or kids, or whatever else you'd like. What's three? Go. Gorgeous! Good chit chat. Well done. I hope everyone at home managed to have a little chat with their cat or whatever you've got there. How did it feel? What did you notice? Oh no, I'm asking this to speak in front of the group. I know it's harder, but go on, go on. How was it? It's fine if the answer is hard and terrible. But like, yeah, I just like can't tell if I'm doing it. Like when it's once you start, you're like, oh, did I lose it? It's hard to tell if you like lost it. Yeah, like absolutely. You like try to yawn into it, and then you start talking, and it's gone. Yeah, yeah. But if you can yawn your way into it, you have proof of concept that it exists in your voice, which is a great first start. A lot of the time when we're speaking, we're thinking 100% about what we're saying. Maybe 5% listening to the other person, but we're mostly thinking about the stuff that we're saying. So these muscles, they kind of go on autopilot a lot of the time. So actually, a lot of the trick of voice training isn't just finding the sound, it's like integrating it when you start to actually say words. And it's just that extra little mental step of thinking about how we're going to speak and then also thinking about some words that we're going to say both at the same time. I said at the beginning that voice training should never be really hard physical work, but it's hard mental work sometimes. Sorry about it. But it's hard to change any habit because humans love a habit. It's path of least resistance. It's the easiest possible thing not to change. Beautiful. So that that concept of lightness and softness tends to be where I start with Transfeminine Voice. Although it has to be said, I teach mostly in London, and like the accent and how it sits and how what reads as feminine is different in different countries and different accents and different languages. So this has become my default, possibly also just because of the British accent. So let's also talk about brightness, because that's a really fun thing as well. What is brightness anyway? Great question. So we often talk about something called resonance, which is like the quality of sound that we're making. And we kind of talk about it being either bright or dark or kind of in the middle. Dark sounds tend to come from big, round, open spaces. There's loads of time for those sound waves to bounce around in there. If you're feeling very like nerdy, it would literally have fewer visible overtones on a spectrograph. Hours of fun. You can download one for free. Brighter sounds tend to come from smaller spaces. Vocally, it'll be quite sort of sharp sounding. And brighter sounds tend to sound like they're higher pitched, even if they're not, because they have loads of really high overtones in them, which is neat, right? So I'm going to use my pitch example again, because I can't say too many times how unimportant pitch is, especially when you're first starting. Here I am speaking at that E3 with a really dark sound. And here I am speaking at an E3 with a really bright sound. And I haven't changed the pitch, but you can kind of already hear that the way this is going to come across is really different. Darkness versus brightness is particularly your friend if you're having trouble on the phone, because oh boy, does nothing else matter on the phone. It's the way that microphones work. So we're going to try two things to think about adding a little bit more brightness to our sound. And the first one, make sure it's not the same as the last one because everyone was way before. Pick a note, any note. It can be high, it can be low, somewhere you'd be comfortable speaking. And you're going to go between an ah and an e. So kind of like this. Ah, e, ah, e. You can take mine up, you can take a higher one, you can take a lower one, but give it a try. 1, 2, 3, go. Ah, e, ah, e, ah, e. Congratulations! Everyone did it great. How'd you do it? What changed? What happened?
Mouth changed, like tongue and stuff.
Yeah. What'd you do? What'd you do?
We like clenched and like smiled a bit.
Whoa, nice. So you smiled a bit and the tongue maybe came up a bit?
Yeah. Like I could feel it touch my molars and stuff.
Yeah, back of your tongue kind of up by your top back molars, right?
Yeah.
So when we make that E sound, the tongue comes up, which means the space inside our mouth gets smaller. Bright sounds come from small spaces. And it kind of widens out, which is why we get that extra little smiley feeling. And that little space being so short and wide, it gives us a really bright sound. Just for fun, let's try going from an E counting to 10. But take that extra little bit of focus. Can you keep the back of your tongue softly up and wide, like that E sound? Maybe you'll even leave it touching those back molars at the very top. For example, E 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just keeping that E kind of vibe. Go.
2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Beautiful. Everyone did it great. How did it feel? What did you notice? Do it one more time and then tell me how it felt. 1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What happened? How did it sound? Either yourself or the whole room, because we all did it.
Right.
Yay! Yeah, it sounded lighter and brighter, which is delightful. Just for fun, see if you can keep that E vibe and say your boring sentence again. Hi, my name is yada yada, whatever your name is. 1, 2, 3, go. Yes. Easy, right? When we're doing stuff like this, we'll want to sort of periodically check in and make sure that we're lifting our tongue, but not clenching our tongue, because that's a great way to tire yourself out real quick. And keep that in mind for our next exercise. Good news, it's silly. Please can you all imagine you are a chihuahua? And we're going to do a fast little chihuahua type pant, just like this. 1, 2, 3, go. Nice. Notice all the stuff that happens when you do that. Probably lots, right? For me, I get that kind of E tongue shape again. It's kind of up and wide, but then this feels like it's getting smaller and I feel like my air is going faster as well. Just for fun. What happens if you try to say your boring sentence as that chihuahua? Hi, my name is Stephen. I live in London and I had a salad for lunch. Go. Gorgeous. If the chihuahua voice feels like work, you can maybe adjust it to Dijon frisé or whatever like medium small dog it's for you. As with anything else, we're making gentle adjustments over time. We're not here to work super hard. But take a little moment to just feel that slightly smaller space in there and see what it does to your voice. Chat to your new friend again. Pick one of those two, so either E or... And just have a gentle little chat with your bright voice and see how it feels. How about that weather, eh? Beautiful. Any observations about how it went or how it felt or how it sounded?
My cheeks hurt.
Plus I'm smiling. Yeah. There's it's a little bit of a byproduct of wanting that short, wide shape in here. Sometimes we get just very, very smiley, and it's hard to not be constantly smiling, which is neither here nor there. Sometimes it can feel a little sort of customer service voice. But again, customer service voice reads very feminine because of the patriarchy.
Yeah. That's like that's my phone and drives your voice.
100%. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. But everyone does it. Cis people do it as well. What can you do? Beautiful. So those are our two kind of first steps thinking about shifting our voice around parameters. It's how heavy or light we're thinking about using our voice and how dark or bright. Broadly speaking, for most languages and accents, bright and softer is going to read as more feminine, but there's always exceptions. For example, posh British people like very dark, but very soft. I'm always thinking of Nigella Lawson, who's a British TV chef, and she's just got this like very rich, round, with very feminine, soft voice. Google her if you're a voice nerd. Even if we're sort of thinking in the longer term, I definitely want the pitch of my voice to be much higher. I gently suggest starting with these first because it's easier to do over the long term, like right away, than just hiking our pitch up really high. It's gonna be more effective in terms of how you come across. And also, if you want that pitch to get gradually higher over time, using your voice in a softer way and having a slightly smaller space in here is going to make that a lot physically easier as well. And it's my third time saying it, but we never want to work physically super hard at this because that's a great way to strain yourself. Your vocal folds, fun fact, are about the size of your thumbnail. Not the whole thing, just the tip. So you can imagine a muscle that small is very easy to tire out. So we're going to be gentle with that. Beautiful. That's the gentle presentation.
Well, thank you, Stephen. Thank you for coming, folks who are here in person, folks who are at home. This is put on by the Chair in Transgender Studies, as I said before. We do all sorts of events and programming throughout the year, and we try and keep things interesting and alive for all of the folks who are interested in trans stuff. So if you like what we do, I have to make it appeal, contrary to what most people think. This is not an endowed chair. So if you are able, please consider making a donation. If you know rich people, twist their arms, tell them to make a donation because we can, our survival depends on donations from you and from the goodwill of the university and from your wealthy friends or just not wealthy from you. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you to Stephen. And perhaps I'll see you at some of the programming I told you about earlier on, not just tonight, 2 talks coming up in the next few days. So thanks again.